Good evening, and welcome to our third episode of Ghastly Creatures, the case of the Cavalier Cocktail Party. Our story begins at the Trinity Knot Pub, owned by the charming Charlie Doyle in the heart of Seattle. He meets with his fiancée, Lydia Benson, in hopes that the pint of Guinness will snuff out the flame lit by her latest tiff with her mother, Beatrice.
I just don't understand it. We've been together for nearly half a year and she still won't let you come to the damn party?
Well, it takes time for a mother to accept that her little bird is leaving the nest.
I have never been her little bird. But I'd like to flip her too.
Now, Lydia, I can't be the cause of so much anger between you two. If it's easier, I'll skip the party.
You will do no such thing. She is going to learn to accept our love if she has to choke on it.
Lydia, love, you haven't touched your Guinness.
Oh, I'm so angry I forgot it was there.
Oh, that's why I'm here, to remind you. Here, before it loses its head.
I am not losing my head.
I meant the beer, dear.
Oh, I'm sorry, Charlie. It's just that all my life she's kept me all to herself. She says that our money makes her so suspicious of other people. But if you ask me, her neuroticism makes me wonder if it's not the money itself, but how she got it.
Well, everyone's got a skeleton in the closet.
I bet she could fill a cemetery. There is zero feeling in that woman.
It's what she's had to do to get by. Be patient.
I can't be patient, Charlie, not when it comes to you.
I know, a store. But we must be if we're going to be married.
I love it when you speak Gaelic to me. Say it again.
A store.
Keep doing that.
I will, my treasure.
While Charlie croons Gaelic pet names, Lydia's mother, Beatrice, meets with Seattle's most esteemed chef, Rosemary Ryan, to select the menu for her upcoming anniversary party. Sheila, their spaniel, whimpers from beneath the oak dining table in hopes that pity will inspire a bite of the samples.
Not now, Sheila. You're on the science diet.
How did she fare, by the way?
The bloat was enough to disqualify her for Best in Show. She can't keep her nose out of anything. Fortunately, her gaseous phase has ended.
Ugh, well, that's all we can hope for.
Now, Rosemary, I am putting absolute trust in your judgment when I ask you, lobster bisque or tomato bisque?
Beatrice, it's got to be the lobster bisque.
You don't think that will be too much with the salmon main course?
If you don't go all out for your 25th anniversary, what can you do?
I suppose you're right. I mean, who knows if we'll make it another 25 years?
Bernard isn't on the loose again, is he?
Oh, no. And my PI still hasn't confirmed the last time, but I'm sure Bernard's marketing associate has a plan down her cleavage.
Beatrice, if you will excuse me, I have something I must say.
Yes?
We've been friends for what, 5 years now?
Oh, at least.
And I've never once misled you, have I?
Only when you told me that caviar pairs well with eggs.
To my credit, I did not anticipate you would put it in a scramble.
Fair enough.
Aside from the caviar, I'd say I've never let you down.
True.
I think you're too suspicious of Bernard.
Maybe you're right.
It's going to pull you two apart like an overcooked halibut.
I can't help it, Rosemary. My life has taught me to always be on the defense. People get a sniff of money and they swarm you like piranhas on raw chum.
Good thing there isn't any blood in the water.
Not yet.
Well, enough of the cynicism. This is a happy occasion. Let's move on to the third course.
You're right. What do you think of the Mont Blanc Pavlova?
A festive choice.
Lydia has since left the Trinity Knot, and Charlie is about to fire his latest hire, whose job and black pudding is saved by the shopkeeper's bell at the front door.
Is that floozy gone already?
Lana, I thought you were working at the shop.
Of course you did.
Well, you said so this morning.
I had to fall in love with the thickest fella in Dublin, didn't I?
Oh, so you still love me, do you?
I left early. Pour me a pint of the black stuff.
Anything for you, Arun Shark?
Get you round to canning that Maggie cook of yours.
Oh, was about to when you walked in. He's lasted long enough to bunk off the next shepherd's pie.
Too bad.
What's on your mind, love?
I don't know if I can go through with this.
Don't worry, Lana. You'll be able to turn that clodder around in no time.
It's not about the ring. It's about the nature of the whole thing.
Oh, Lana, we talked about this.
I don't care how much we talked, you tosser.
Now, Lana, it's only until we get the payout.
I know you're not actually getting feelings for this girl.
How could I gain feelings for any other lass? You're in my heart.
Well, how do I know?
A decade of memories doesn't do it for you.
It means nothing if I've been a fool.
This whole thing is for you. It's for us.
I know. It's just seeing you with this tramp cooing over each other and kissing it makes a girl wonder.
Well, just remember, it's all for you.
Well, 2 more of these ought to spare the memory.
On the house.
They better be.
Lydia arrives home after a long day of retail therapy, ready to confront her mother in her new Gucci stilettos.
Mother, I'm home.
You call that a pass? Pass my ass.
Evening, Daddy.
Why are you going for it on 4th and 3?
Seahawks not doing so well, huh, Pops?
I'm getting complacent, that's all. You call that offense?
Mother, I'm home.
I'm in the kitchen.
That's a first.
Hi, Lydia, dear.
I should have known. Hi, Rosemary.
How's my favorite husky in Seattle?
I'm ready to bare my fangs, unfortunately.
In those heels. I'll leave you to it. Beatrice, same time tomorrow, yes?
Yes, Rosemary, see you then. Lydia, just because Rosemary is basically family doesn't mean you get to scare her off like the rest of us.
Mother, we need to talk.
Talk! If it's anything like the last time, I'm not interested.
Why won't you let Charlie come to dinner?
He's a hooligan, Lydia, and far beneath your station.
My station? This is Seattle, Mother, not Downton freaking Abbey.
I sent you to one of the best universities in Seattle to find a doctor, Lydia, or a lawyer, or at least a damn MBA, for God's sakes. And you bring me a barkeep. Honestly, it's embarrassing.
We've been together for 6 months now. Do I have to get knocked up for you to even meet him?
Heaven forbid.
It's true, Mother. I feel like we have to tie bloodlines for you to even look at him.
At least finish your bachelor's before you go tying anything.
Ugh, you're insufferable.
Bernard, lend me your American Express.
What for?
I'm cashing in the travel points.
Why?
Our second honeymoon will be enjoyed solo. After this damn party, I'm going to the Bahamas.
How come I get stuck with the bad seed?
You gave me that X chromosome. Now give me the card.
Wallet's on the credenza.
Thank you.
A week has passed since Beatrice blithely booked her beachside boathouse. With her seaside sabbatical drawing nearer, Beatrice has gained the patience to look forward to the party she's been planning for months.
Bernard, where are my pearl earrings?
How should I know?
Oh, don't be abrupt. It's our anniversary.
Of 25 years, I think I've earned the right to be abrupt.
Well, they were just here on my vanity. Oh, I hope they didn't fall in the shag.
Maybe Sheila ate them.
Sheila did no such thing.
Look at her. She's hiding something.
She's sleeping.
Oh, sure. The dog gets the benefit of the doubt.
Now, Bernard, I apologized for that already.
Honestly, Beatrice, Kelly almost resigned.
All I did was politely suggest that she wear more professional attire.
You said you could see her bosoms from the top of the Space Needle. I could have gotten the axe.
Not my fault the girl can't dress herself.
Well, it's the last time I'm letting you in my office.
Frankly, you should appreciate that your wife is still jealous of an old grouch like you.
Yeah. Well, at least now the intern might get some work done.
See?
Honestly, Bea, at my age, she looks like Lydia. How am I supposed to find her even remotely attractive when I see a gal who reminds me of the 5th grade daddy-daughter dance? I don't even like knowing she has a figure.
That's why I love you, Bernie.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
What do you mean?
I told Lydia she could bring Charlie to dinner.
Oh, I don't think so.
Beatrice, she's our daughter. They've been going steady for 6 months now. I think it's time we give the guy a chance.
But he's horrible for her.
The man owns his own bar. He works, Beatrice. I was a working man before I met you.
You were different.
No, I was the downtown boy who locked eyes with the uptown girl. Charles is no different.
I suppose you're right. But I've seen him, Bernard.
You have?
Yes, I stopped by his pub after my LASIK surgery when I still had those enormous glasses.
Ah, I remember those. Made you look like a washed up water bug.
Precisely. I took the opportunity of anonymity to scope him out.
Why didn't you tell me this?
You wouldn't have believed anything I said.
Not necessarily.
Oh, please. Everyone knows I'm paranoid. Anyways, I went in and sat in a corner booth. Lydia was at the bar and didn't see me, thank God. She was so enraptured by his Irish brogue. I don't think she saw anything, but I did.
With those glasses on, I doubt it.
I wasn't blind, Bernard. I sent back my fish and chips.
Why?
Well, the chips were swimming instead of the fish.
Maybe they should be investigated by the health department.
Among other things. When she left, Charlie met with another woman.
Oh?
Yes, I swear I saw it. Another one just like him. She mentioned Dublin.
That doesn't mean anything. Could have been his sister.
Maybe. I couldn't hear much, but the whole thing gave me a rash, you know, like the one I got the day our neighbor died and no one knew until the smell hit the sidewalk.
Poor Mrs. Rosenblum.
A pungent day in the neighborhood.
Indeed.
I can't ignore that rash, Bernard.
It could have been peanut oil on the chips, Beatrice. You know you're allergic.
It wasn't the chips, Bernard, and you know it.
Well, then it's even better we're meeting this guy. Let's see if you break out again.
I am not a lab rat, Bernard.
Well, we don't know for sure until we meet the guy, Bea. And tonight's our chance.
I hope it's our last.
While Beatrice searches fervently for her pearl earrings in the pastel pink shag, Lana is about to turn a darker shade of fuchsia as Lydia's cab turns the corner near the pub.
Are you ready, Charlie?
Well, one more shot of whiskey and I'll be on my way.
Don't get slush now. You need to be on your toes.
Lana, I know what I'm doing.
If I had to teach you how to kiss, you know I've had to teach you everything.
I think I've earned a steady A over the years.
B+.
Well, see? Now, don't you think it's time you could stop holding my hand?
I'll have to tonight, but doesn't mean I have to like it.
All right, Lydia's almost here. You better get a move on.
Oh, I've got to get to the shop anyway. Graham's working and she's bound to overcharge somebody.
That's my lass. I'll see you after.
You better. I have made plans for us tonight.
Oh, give old Graham a kiss for me.
Better my lips than yours.
Lana.
All right, but don't go too far with that trollop.
I only as far as necessary.
Tonight, I'll be waiting.
Ready, Charlie?
Oh, yeah, I just need to fix me tie, Lydia.
Oh, keep stalling. If we're late, that'll make him even more crazy.
Lydia, did it ever occur to you that I'd like to make a decent first impression?
You can't, Charlie. Mother is hell-bent on the idea that you're this lowlife, and I'm going to milk it.
Lydia.
Maybe when we tell them that we're engaged, she'll drop dead.
Vengeful is not a good look on you.
You're right. I need more lipstick.
All right, a store. I've got the cab waiting outside.
I'll just put it on in the car.
How you women do that, I'll never understand.
That's what makes us the finer sex.
One finer than others.
Don't you get me started right before dinner.
Rosemary and her new assistant Bonnie dash between the stovetop and the granite island in the Benson's kitchen, busily preparing the evening's meal.
Now, Bonnie, I'll need you to watch this bisque like your life depends on it. I've got to keep an eye on this temperamental salmon.
Sure thing, Mrs. Ryan. Does it need anything else?
Don't you add a thing. You're on spoon duty. Just stir it. I'll let you know when to set the table.
Yes, ma'am.
Once you get your sea legs, I'll let you season the fish. Give it a few months, dear.
Yes, ma'am.
My, the salmon smells absolutely delectable.
That's the plan, Beatrice.
Who is this?
Oh, this is Bonnie. She's the newest hire on my catering team. Perfectly adequate, but I thought a small party would be ideal training for her.
Well, as long as it's your cooking and her stirring, I'm happy.
She's still on spoon duty.
I see. Don't worry, Bonnie. Give it a few months and you'll add your first pinch.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, please, call me Mrs. Benson. Ma'am just sounds like I'm 80. Not knocking on a gravestone yet, my dear.
Yes, Mrs. Benson.
I'd better go check on Bernard and make sure he's not hiding his radio in his jacket.
Great idea.
While Bonnie stirs with conviction, Charlie perspires through his first layer of Old Spice, and Lydia's fake eyelash nearly twitches off her lid upon reaching the front door.
All right, Charlie, here it goes.
Lydia, I just got here before your mother. Now her mood has finally improved, so please try to be friendly.
Always, Daddy. This is Charlie.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, the pleasure is mine.
Easy now, Charlie. I'm not the president.
Oh, of course, sir. Yes, sir.
And don't call me sir. My father was a sir. He's been dead for 10 years.
Yes, Mr. Benson.
Yeah, it's not great, but it'll do. At
Yes,
ease, soldier.
Yes, Mr. Benson.
All right, come on in. Take a seat in the den. Beatrice has gone ham on the appetizers.
Great, I'm starving.
Good evening. I'm Bonnie. Can I offer you a glass of champagne?
Champagne before dinner.
By the hostess's request.
Sure. Lydia.
Oh, I'll have a glass. Thank you.
Bonnie.
Thank you, Bonnie. She seemed a little miffed.
How so?
Didn't you notice that death stare?
I think you're on high alert.
What do you mean by that?
I didn't notice a death stare. She's to help Lydia. She's working.
I suppose.
Lydia, darling, so lovely to see you. Who is your friend?
You know who he is, Mother.
Mrs. Benson, it's a delight to finally meet you.
I'm glad you could join us this evening.
Hardly.
Now, Lydia, it was your father's request to meet
Charles, but you can call me Charlie.
Charles.
And I know you must be steaming under that Avon. Careful, Mother. If you don't get in front of a fan soon, you might crack.
Setting spray, dear. I have some in the cabinet. If your eyelash migrates any further, it might find itself in the shrimp cocktail.
Anyways, Mrs. Benson, you have a lovely home.
Thank you. The food should be ready momentarily. Rosemary brought in a trainee, so it's taken a tad longer than usual.
Exposure therapy
Excuse me?
for your patient's problem.
Quite. Please, sit down. Relax. Enjoy yourselves.
Gladly.
Once the family has adjourned to the sitting room, Lydia's eyelash has been re-adhered to its battle station, allowing her to scope out her nearest opportunity to shoot down her mother's ego.
Beatrice, would you like to make a toast?
Why, yes, Bernie.
Fire away.
I'm so pleased our little family could be together to celebrate 25 years of our unity. Marriage has been an adventure and a triumph, in no small part to my dear favorite husband, Bernie. Enjoy the appetizers and the dinner soon to commence.
I would also like to make a toast.
All right, Liddy, go ahead.
To my parents, who taught me that love isn't a predictable journey, and to be open to surprises. And to my fiance, Charlie, for teaching me what love really is.
Fiancé!
Fiancé?
When did this happen?
What Beatrice means is...
I know exactly what I mean. 6 months is hardly enough time to get engaged.
Beatrice?
I mean, what are the two of you thinking?
B.
She hasn't even graduated yet. I will not have my Lydia barefoot and pregnant before she's gotten her diploma.
Beatrice! I give up.
And what kind of toast was that? You might as well have said, Granny Tammy died. In fact, I would have preferred it. Oh, this party is ruined.
This champagne is delicious. Demi-sec.
Brute.
Bernard takes one last fortifying sip of his champagne and cautiously enters the Benson bedroom.
Beatrice,
What?
dinner is almost ready.
I am not going back out there, Bernard.
B, I know this isn't what you pictured for our anniversary.
This isn't what I pictured for Lydia.
She's a grown woman now, B. Hate to say it, but it's the best we've got.
She had so much promise, Bernard, and she's throwing it all away.
She's not throwing anything away. She's taking a detour.
Bernie, my rash is back.
It might be the champagne.
No, it's the Rosenblum rash. I know it.
Mrs. Rosenblum was a strange coincidence. No one in this house is decomposing.
Not yet.
At least sit down for the first course.
It'll be my last.
As cream of tartar stabilizes egg whites, so too does Rosemary act to swiftly whip Lydia back into shape.
Lydia, I've known you too long not to say something. That was unkind.
What? She was going to find out anyway. Besides, we'll be Facebook official tomorrow.
What?
What is it, Bonnie?
Oh, nothing, Mrs. Ryan. I'm sorry. I forgot to stir the bisque. It got a skin.
Well, hop to it then. And mind you don't do it again.
Yes, ma'am.
Needless to say, I think perhaps after dinner would have been a better timing. Your poor mother isn't going to be able to eat a bite.
Oh, Rosemary. Mother will eat plenty. She'd scarf down the last tartlet at a funeral. I'm speaking from experience.
Regardless, will you please try to be a little more pleasant for the remainder of the evening?
She will, Mrs. Ryan.
Oh, I wasn't speaking to you, Mr. Doyle. I'm not certain why you're even here to begin with. How come I haven't met you before?
Lydia didn't want to upset her parents.
Well, didn't that plan work out splendidly?
Apparently.
It's not Charlie's fault, Rosemary.
Well, let's just see if your mother can get through dinner without a stroke.
Yes, Rosemary.
I apologize for my abrupt departure. I needed to powder my nose.
Rosemary, might you have anything a bit stronger than champagne?
Of course! Bonnie, prepare a dry martini for Mr. Benson. Extra gin.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like one as well, please.
Of course.
Might we all sit down?
So, Charlie, how about them Seahawks? Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Benson. I don't follow football.
You picked yourself a real winner, Lydia.
Charlie has refined interests, Dad.
Yeah, well, any man should be able to talk sports with another man. It's the universal language.
And I thought music was the universal language.
Oh, yeah, your father's right, Lydia. I really should expand my interests.
I'd recommend it.
2 dry martinis for the happy couple.
I hope you all enjoy our first course. Bonnie, please serve the lobster bisque.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is my special recipe which I've cultivated over my year of training in France.
Smells delightful, Rosemary. I'm sorry, Sheila, you'll have to wait. Bonnie, would it be too much trouble to feed little Sheila her filet mignon? It is a special occasion.
No trouble at all.
This bisque is to die for. Rosemary, you have outdone yourself.
Oh, that's the first time.
I'm thrilled you're enjoying it.
Charlie? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I think I just need a little water.
Oh my, yes, of course. Bonnie, water?
Yes, ma'am.
There isn't coriander in this, is there?
Heavens no. Who puts coriander in a bisque?
My bag!
Charlie? What's going on?
Epi... Pen?
Oh my God. Oh, Charles. I can't find it.
What's happening?
Charlie's having a reaction. I can't find his EpiPen.
I'll call an ambulance.
Hurry.
In the wake of Charlie's wake, Rosemary Ryan is drowning in her lethal-ladled lobster. The tabloids rage, though her bail has been paid and she's running out of options. Inspector Poupée has just cut short Rosemary's compulsory collect call.
Duran!
Yes, sir.
Duran, I need you in here.
But I only got a minute left on my pie.
Well, cut me a slice.
It needs to rest. How many times do I got to tell you?
I need a rest.
Okay, Poupée, what's up?
I got an urgent call from a Rosemary Ryan. Her business on the brink of disaster.
Oh?
Alleged murderer at a cocktail party. She's the primary suspect, but she says it's impossible.
Motive?
Doesn't seem like it.
How about the method?
Oh, you're like this. Bumped off by bisque.
Bisque?
Yeah, lobster bisque.
What a shame.
Yeah, I know. All right, Dee, we're headed to Seattle.
All right, I'll pack my bags.
Thank you for coming, Inspector. Officer?
Yeah, of course. Now, you're the primary suspect, you say, but you're not in custody, so why is that?
The Bensons are very close friends of mine. I've known them for years. They paid my bail.
Very generous of them.
It is.
So, Rosemary, what's the story?
Well, frankly, it was frankly astonishing. Officer, I've made my bisque 1,000,000 times. I've never added coriander, ever. So the death of Charles Doyle was an enormous shock. The autopsy revealed an allergic reaction to the spice, but I can't think of how that could have occurred.
An accident?
Hardly. I'm hyper vigilant about my food. It's my living, my claim to fame. The case has already been on the cover of Stars of Seattle magazine. Twice.
Sounds like you got quite a following.
Inspector, if this isn't resolved soon, I'll be finished.
Now, don't worry, Mrs. Ryan. Now's not the time to leave the napkin on the plate.
We're going to need to get everyone together from the night of the party. Who do we need to call?
With the help of Beatrice and Bernard, Rosemary has successfully assembled all the surviving attendees of the suspicious supper in the Benson sitting room.
Thank you all for agreeing to meet with me this afternoon.
It has been a very trying month, Inspector.
Lydia hasn't eaten hardly anything since the party.
She's beginning to whimper like Sheila.
Sheila?
Our spaniel. She's sleeping in the den.
The sooner we get some closure on this, the better. I'm missing the game.
Would anyone like some beef Wellington minis? The grieving hardly eat.
I'll have one, dear.
Bonnie, plate the minis.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, folks, I'm going to have to conduct interviews privately. Where's an appropriate space?
You can use my study.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Benson. Now, I've heard Rosemary's account of events, so I'd like to start with the closest to the deceased. Lydia, will you follow me, please?
Yes, Inspector.
Now, Lydia, please tell me more about your relationship with Charles Doyle.
Charlie was the love of my life.
I'm really sorry for all that you're going through.
You're one of the few.
Am I?
My mother hated him.
Hate is a strong word, Lydia.
It is not an exaggeration.
Okay, now, why would your mother hate Charles Doyle?
Because she's always been obsessed with me, Inspector. She's never been able to let me go.
That's hardly unique for any mother.
Oh, she's extreme. She forced me to go to college right here in Washington. In high school, I tried to rebel just to be sent off to boarding school, and instead, she got me an in-home tutor. I haven't had a minute to myself since Charlie came along, and she had to take him away from me.
Wait, are you insinuating, Lydia, that your mother murdered Charles Doyle?
Oh, sure it wouldn't be the first time. Didn't you ask her about Mrs. Rosenblum?
Now, Lydia, let's try to keep our heads. Okay. I'm sorry. Is there something I said?
You couldn't have known, Inspector. Oh, it's not your fault. It's just that was the last thing that Charlie said to me about my mother. To keep my head and
In what?
he lost his.
Okay, Lydia, let's get you something to calm your nerves, all right? Meanwhile, hey, send in Mrs. Benson.
Honestly, she sounds like a barn cat in heat.
Not one for the waterworks, are we, Mrs. Benson?
You are perceptive.
Lydia seems to be under the impression that you don't entirely care for Charles Doyle.
She thinks I killed him.
I did not expect you to be so blunt.
When you've been through the sausage grinder of life, you never come out the same as you went in. So let's just get straight to the meat of it, shall we?
Yes, ma'am.
Lydia is under the impression that I murdered her beloved when it simply isn't true. Murder would ruin my legacy, my business, as even the accusation of it is tormenting Rosemary. I've always had my eyes 2 steps ahead of the press, Inspector, and I've tiptoed, if not leapt, over every business faux pas since my rise to real estate esteem in the 80s. I'd hardly pick a waste of space like Charles Doyle to foil my record now.
Waste of space.
Oh, I'll put it plainly, Inspector. I despised Charles Doyle. He made my daughter reckless and downright stupid. She calls it love. I call it rebellion without a cause. Frankly, I think her women's studies course backfired. Instead of embracing independence, she embraced a Cinderella complex.
I see.
Though it might sound incriminating, Inspector, I'm glad Charlie Doyle dropped dead and that I had been here to see it, so I knew it was true.
So, you wouldn't have heard it through the grapevine, so to speak.
Oh, I would have heard. But that man was as slimy as week old bangers and mash.
What do you mean?
But Lydia doesn't know this, so please be considerate. But I must admit that I had seen Charles Doyle before he entered my home.
Tell me about that.
Well, as any mother would be, I was concerned when I was notified of Lydia's academic negligence, which began soon after she started dating this Charlie. So I did a little digging, and I found that the Playboy owned a bar in Seattle, right in the heart of the downtown, the Trinity Knot.
Hey, yeah, that's a great Irish breakfast in that joint. Duran and I stopped there for a bite on the way.
He must have fired that cook.
Now, how would you know about his business affairs?
Inspector, I'm a mother, which makes me a bit of a PI myself. I was wearing large sunglasses. I had LASIK not long before I scoped it out. To my dismay, I saw him with Lydia, but afterwards, another woman met with him. They were all too familiar with each other to be just friends. In fact, she even had an accent just like him. I overheard them discussing the cook.
Did you catch a name?
Unfortunately, I didn't, but they seemed to be very close.
Does Lydia know about this?
Oh, God, no. If I told Lydia, she'd up and move to Dublin with her tall glass of Irish whiskey, and I'd be left alone with rotting dreams of the daughter I should have had.
So she has no idea there may have been another woman in his life.
No. Why do you think she's ready to be the Juliet to his Romeo in my sitting room?
Fair enough. Thank you, Beatrice. That's all for now.
Sheila, get out of Daddy's fern, for heaven's sakes. What have you got now?
Beatrice, would you mind removing your,
A spaniel, Inspector. A prize-winning Cavalier Spaniel, except for this year.
And she's got something.
Oh, what did my Sheila Wheeler find? Give it to Mommy. Drop it. Oh, my God. Inspector.
What the heck was in that plant?
An EpiPen.
Careful, Mrs. Benson. Don't touch that. Duran?
Inspector?
Grab your gloves. We just found Charles Doyle's EpiPen in the fern.
What's that doing there?
What kind of a question is that? Grab the evidence bag and get those prints identified immediately.
Yes, sir.
Sheila, are you all right?
She's fine, Mrs. Benson. The pen wasn't discharged. It's new.
Oh, thank God. I don't want my Sheila Wheeler getting sicky-wicky. No, I don't.
Well, at least one life's been spared in his place, even if it was canine.
Well, maybe that will quell Lydia's doubts.
We'll see, Mrs. Benson.
After receiving the results for the prints, Duran and Poupée grab a bite and a lead at the Trinity Knot.
Man, this soda bread is fantastic.
Remember, Dee, we're here on business.
This soda bread is my business, Pete.
Now, this Lana Murphy was last seen at this joint. We gotta find out why those prints were hers when she wasn't anywhere near their party.
Maybe she packed his bag.
Yeah, but why?
How's everything?
I could use a warm-up.
Okay, I'll get that for you right away.
Excuse me, Kate? Is Lana Murphy going to be in later?
Ooh, Lana's been under the weather. Who's asking?
Well, we're the detectives on the Doyle case. Yeah, we've been trying to reach her for weeks.
Oh my. Well, yes, sir. Sorry, I didn't know it was you. You see, Lana's been grieving.
What do you mean grieving?
Well, they were practically married.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
They've been together for the last 10 years, moved here from Dublin together. I'm sorry, did I say something I shouldn't have?
Not at all, Kate. Please, do you have a minute?
Mondays are slow. I can sit if that's okay.
By all means.
So, Kate, can you tell us more about this Lana?
Well, she's worked part-time at the bar since Charlie bought it.
Yeah, I'm more interested in what you know about her personally.
Ooh, well, I'd feel bad. I don't know much.
Just as need your help, Kate.
All right. Well, Lana and Charlie were together for a long time. They were kids together in Ireland, neighbors, actually. I'm not sure on the details of their relationship, but I know they were, for all intents and purposes, married. Not legally yet, but they had the claddagh and everything. Lana kept saying they were saving money for a big wedding until the other girl came along.
Other girl?
Yeah, I think her name was Linda or something.
Maybe it was Lydia?
Yeah, Lydia. Super rich chick. Once Charlie met her, she'd be in here all the time. She and Lana never crossed paths, though. Not for more than a minute. The waitstaff figured Charlie was having an affair, and no one likes to piss off Charlie, especially after he fired that cook. That was brutal. So we all just kept quiet about it.
Hang on, so the women, they didn't know each other?
Well, so it seemed. But I remember a little while ago, Lana and Charlie had a huge fight, like a real blowout.
Tell us about that.
Well, we figured Lana finally found out about, the other girl. See, Charlie liked to call Lana his rune shark, but he slipped up and called her a store instead. That was the pet name he had for Lydia. Oh, it was awful. She started smashing bottles and socked Charlie right in the ribs. Ugh, we had to close for a whole day just for the cleanup. She's a small woman, but boy, did she make a mess.
Huh, I see.
So when we got the news that Charlie died, well, we thought she'd be not happy, but not devastated by it. We didn't expect her to go AWOL.
So hasn't she been in the bar since?
Only a couple times to pick up some things. Word around the pub is she's going back to Dublin.
Where else might we find her, Kate?
Well, she helps this old lady who owns a boutique a few minutes away. They're close. She calls her Graham.
Could you give us directions?
Oh, sure. It's not far.
You better leave Kate a big fat tip, P.
Yeah, thanks, Joanne.
You guys should stop by more often.
Lana, it's nice to finally meet you.
I am a little busy here, if you don't mind.
There's no one here.
Inventory. Last one before I leave.
Leave?
I need a break from this place.
Going somewhere with a little bit more sun, I hope.
Sometimes. Listen, I know why you guys are here, and it's really not that complicated.
It's been so hard to reach you. I guess otherwise.
Charlie and I were over before he met his maker. He wasn't made for this place.
What do you mean?
He was too sensitive.
Oh, you know him well.
Since we were kids. Thought that would be enough for him.
Enough?
Charlie had his share of girls, okay, but I was his one only. And then we came here and he forgot all that.
How so?
Well, he met this Lydia, his fiancée, but she wasn't really his fiancée. I never left the picture.
So, what made you stay?
He promised me he was with her for the payoff. I can't believe I was stupid enough to fall for it.
What kind of payoff you talking about?
He was going to marry her, get her money, and keep me sitting pretty in a high-rise. That was the plan.
A real white knight.
I was a fool. He went and fell in love with that floozy.
So, how long were you two together?
10 years. We broke up a week before he bit it.
1 week?
Yeah.
Huh. Then why were your prints all over his EpiPen?
Charlie was an idiot. I had to do everything for him.
Okay, so you packed his bag the night of the party?
I don't remember, probably.
But I thought you broke up with him a week prior.
I did. Doesn't mean I avoided him altogether.
It's awfully compassionate of you.
If it's all the same to you, gentlemen, I've got to be going. So,
What about all the inventory?
Graham can finish up. I've got to be going. I've had enough here.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Fine.
What's that on your hand?
A bite.
Do you have a dog, Lana?
I hate the mangy things.
It seems like the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, the thing got a hold of me when she went after my beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington? Awful fancy for a pub.
I've had enough of this. If that damn chef knew what she was doing, Charlie would still be alive.
But that's not what you wanted, was it?
What are you insinuating?
I think you were at that party, Miss Murphy. And I think we've met before.
Oh, please.
I think you hid that pen in the fern.
Give it up, Inspector.
And I think you're running away to Dublin to avoid retribution.
You can't prove anything.
Oh, I think I can. Bonnie.
I was his bonny lass. Okay, me, not that Lydia tramp. Charlie had to ruin everything. We had plans, Inspector. Charlie Doyle was nothing but a womanizer and a fraud. He deserved what he got.
Okay, Lana Murphy, you're under arrest for suspicion of murder in the first degree. Duran, her rights.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, fellas. Find what you were looking for.
Kate, good to see you. Coffee, please.
Yes, ma'am. We're here for one last pint before we go back to New York.
Ooh, why don't we make it 2?
What the hell? I'll have a pint.
So I see Lana as the newest suspect on the Doyle case.
You haven't been called to jury duty, have you?
Nope. Give me the real scoop, puppet.
Oh, it's Poupée.
Ooh, sorry.
Well, Kate, it appears the case won't even go to trial. Lana's going to try for a plea deal.
That bad, huh?
Well, she's hoping for clemency for ridding Seattle of a public menace. Supposedly, Charlie's original plan was to marry Lydia for a coin and eventually murder her for the life insurance, then marry Lana.
Well, that would have paid for the wedding she had planned. How'd they find out about the long game?
Text messages, Kate, all there in green and white.
Crazy.
Lana's claiming that saving Lydia was her motive, but I think we both know that's kind of a stretch.
Last time I stretched like that, I pulled my hamstring. But why did she resort to murder?
It was a murder of passion for betrayal, Kate. They never make a whole lot of sense.
At least Lydia knows the truth now.
Last I checked, Lydia's been in the Bahamas with her mother. Seems they've made up and are trying to reconnect.
No better place to do that than in the Bahamas.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, Kate, that's a scoop. How about some shepherd's pie?
You heading back to NYC tonight?
8 p.m. flight.
Well, if you're ever back in Seattle, you make sure you stop by.
Of course.
You're going to have to leave her another big tip, Pete.
I'll be broke before we hit the tarmac.
This performance of Ghastly Creatures has been brought to you by a grant from the Elgin Cultural Arts Commission, whose mission is to expand and promote opportunities for local artists through grants, events, and public arts programs throughout the year. Special thanks to our season sponsors, Lunasec Photography, Blue Box Cafe, and the Martini Room for their support. Thank you, and good night. Lydia's fake eyelash has been re-adhered to its battle station, allowing her to scope out her nearest opportunity to shoot down her mother's ego.
Okay, you sounded like a villain from Star Wars at the end of that. Can we take? And it was not your fault, Kim. It was like a like happening. So,
The eyelash is back to its battle station.